Alrighty. Let me adjust this actually. Should be good. Okay. Ow. Like took to my wrist. Ready. Let's go down to some 85s. Okay. Let's do some skull crushers. Alrighty, let us do this. Yeah, whatever. I'm feeling a pain in my elbow, so we're just gonna go down to the 110s. We'll grab them. I'll be right back. Okay. Okay. Let's go to some biceps. Alrighty. So today's topic, envisioning where you want to be. And I think this is something that is kind of underrated when it comes to a skill set that you can have as someone that is new to lifting. If you can envision where you want to be, whether it's weightlifting wise, whether it's looks wise, whether it's, you know, on a number on the scale, all these things that you can kind of envision, picture yourself. Those things are, not only are they important, but like it keeps you, I guess it keeps you focused on what you need to be doing, if that makes sense. I think like a big part of why the first time I started losing weight, it was the reason I was able to stay so consistent was because I was able to envision the way that I was going to look when I was done with my goal. And the great thing about envisioning certain things or envisioning your goal is that it can look different for everyone, right? It doesn't have to be you at your peak performance. Envisioning yourself could mean, just being 5% better. The goal isn't to envision yourself in a sense where you're reaching for something that is impossible, but you're envisioning yourself in a position where you feel that you can do that. And just having that image in your head allows you to be more disciplined, and it allows you to keep your eyes focused on something that you want to achieve. It's a lot hard. And I guess like an added benefit would also be that you can actually plan the way you want to get there. But that's a completely different skill set entirely, because being able to plan it would entail that, like, I guess, excuse me. There's a saying that, like, in order to become someone, you have to act like that person before you become them, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of people say if you want to be rich, you have to act and think like a rich person. If you want to be successful, you have to act and think like a successful person would think. And so, in a sense, the same thing applies to someone that's getting in shape, right? If you want to get in shape, you have to make your decisions and act like someone who wants to get in shape. What does that mean? It means saying no to certain foods. It means going on a walk, taking the stairs when you know when you want to take the elevator. Little sacrifices, right? Little things that eventually add up to being something that is, the end result. So we'll continue this topic after. Let's just do some biceps. I'm only going to do the one side of this weight, and then I'm going to go down. All right. Let me grab the other weight. Give me 2 seconds. Alrighty. Nah. Okay. Let us go do some lat raises. Okay. So let's wrap up the topic. I think a large part of being able to envision yourself is just looking at yourself in the mirror, you guys. I think like a habit a lot of people develop is they look at themselves in the mirror and they don't like what they see, right? But they have this, right? You have this period, right, where you're looking at yourself in the mirror, and there's this process you can go through in your mind if you reinforce it enough to where you kind of envision where you want to be, and you can see yourself and experience how you'd feel. Like, I guess you're envisioning how you'd feel when you see yourself in the mirror and you see something that you like, right? So instead of stopping at this point where you're seeing yourself in the mirror and you don't like what you see, take it a step further and go, okay, well, we don't like what we see, so how can we change that? How can we take the steps that we know we need to take so that we can see visible results and we can see visible change and start to enjoy what we're seeing in the mirror, start to be confident in what we're seeing in the mirror. Because looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, I don't like what I see, doesn't help you in any way. It doesn't push you to be better in any regard, other than maybe like the subtle motivation of, oh, well, I don't like where I am, right? But it doesn't push you towards your goal in a meaningful sense. Whereas if you're constantly looking at yourself and envisioning your goal, right, and you're envisioning where you're gonna be, it gives you a focal point. It gives you something to focus on, and it gives you something to hold onto when it comes to being disciplined and when it comes to being accountable to yourself. And like I said, it doesn't have to be your peak performance. You don't have to envision yourself with six-pack abs to use this method. All you have to do is envision what your self looks like 5% better, 4% better, even 1% better, because any form of improvement is good, right? As long as we are headed in that direction, it is perfectly fine. This is a marathon. It is not a race. It does not matter who finishes first. All that we care about is that you're seeing progress in some capacity, and that's it. Because as long as we're making progress, eventually we will reach our goal. It might not be tomorrow, it might not be a week from now, it might not be a year from now, but eventually it will happen. And that's all we're asking for. So hopefully that like change of mentality can help you guys. Because I know a lot of times it's very easy to fixate on the negative, especially when you're seeing yourself in the mirror and you're obese and you're overweight. It's very easy to latch onto those negative thoughts and be like, okay, this is who I am. No, it's not who you are. It's who you are in the moment, sure, but you have to be able to look ahead and look towards what you're planning on doing so that you can give yourself not only a focus point, but you give yourself an end goal, right? Give yourself something to reach so that when you want to improve further upon that, because everyone can improve upon that, you have a reference for how much effort you're able to give, how much effort you're willing to contribute to being your best self. So, yeah. All right, let's start warm up. So we'll probably do 2 sets of this on camera, 1 set off, and then we'll do some push downs. I tried getting a little extra, but didn't really work out. Oh. I'm so used to just jumping right into the next set. I have to develop habits to let myself rest for a little bit before I jump into my next one. Because then I impede my reps. So I shall be right back. I'm actually gonna get some water. Okay. Okay, one more off camera. Alrighty. Do a warm up. We'll see how this goes because my elbow was feeling a little bit strange earlier, so hopefully it's not too bad. This thing does not turn. I'll be right back. Okay. Now, okay. One more off camera. Okay. So we're probably gonna do. Wait, let me move this actually. Okay. Alrighty. Let's go check things out. Alrighty. This is how we're looking. No new PRs today. I'm kind of trying to like regulate my training, just because I am feeling sick. Not sick, but like it's a cough that's just not going away, and I want it to go. So hopefully the topic was helpful for today. If it was, please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video.